Happy Monday, y'all. What's happening? I want to do a quick video update because it's going to be easier than leaving a comment. On one of the posts that I did, I posted the optical illusion graphics where you have like the rabbit that can be a duck, you have the young woman that can be an old woman, depending on your perspective. And I said that's exactly how the Bible works. You can look at the same page, you can look at the same passages of Scripture, and legitimately you can see different things emerge from them. Even if you're a righteous person, if you operate in good faith, you can see different things appear in the Bible depending on your perspective. Now, some people ask, why did God make it that way? Why didn't God make it so painfully clear so that only one singular interpretation would be reasonably possible when you look at the Bible? I think that's a fair question. Let's ask this. Did God intend the Bible to be a comprehensive A to Z, step-by-step summary of the Christian faith? Did God intend the Bible to be a DIY manual where I hand you the manual and you can read for yourself the full extent of the Christian faith? Was that God's intended design for the Bible? It wasn't. Nope, it wasn't. So where do we get this idea? Because no one in Christianity up until, I suppose, the more recent, historically recent phenomena of the Protestant Reformation, no one actually viewed the Bible that way. No one thought the Bible was this handout manual for the individual believer to understand the Christian faith. That's not what it was designed for. No one could even read. Fewer than 10% of people could read up until the 1800s. So what is the purpose of the Bible? The Bible was always given as a complementary tool to stand with the church, the hierarchy, and the leadership that God presented. This has always been true. Just go back to the Old Testament when you got the Torah, right? Moses went up on the mountain. He got the Ten Commandments. He didn't hand out the Ten Commandments, rocks to the individual believers. He was the ecclesial leader in the community and delivered the Torah. But it was always in the context of an ecclesial community with clear hierarchy and structure. You would go to the Levitical priests. You would go to authorities to understand the teachings. You never walked around by yourself with the book, even though they didn't have books back then, right? But that's the question. So here's the thing. I agree with the criticism. If the Bible was supposed to be a do-it-yourself, A to Z comprehensive manual on the Christian faith, it was not written clearly. You could have had an FAQ section. You could have clarified predestination. You could have clarified infant baptism. All these different things that Christians bicker about. It should have been more precise. It could have been, 5 times as long. Why not, right? Because God surely knew that people would be having different interpretations looking at the same text. So I think that's actually a fair criticism. If Sola Scriptura was the intent, why was the Bible written without perfect precision? Now you might say, yes, it was written with perfect precision. You just don't understand, you fallen human being. It's not God's fault. Well, I don't know. I don't think it was written with enough precision to present a unambiguously perfect interpretation to an individual solo reader. And again, because that wasn't the point. The point was the Bible was meant to be given in the context of the ecclesial authority that God provided. He gave us the apostles and their successors to resolve matters of dispute, to provide interpretive authority. The Bible was written to address and fill in specific gaps that needed to be written down. So when the Apostle Paul, for example, when he wrote to the different communities in Galatia, in Rome, in Ephesus, he wrote to specific audiences that were already formed under the umbrella of the ecclesial community, and they needed a touch-up. They needed to hear certain doctrines, but that wasn't an A to Z comprehensive list of doctrines. So again, wouldn't it have been great if the Bible was all you needed, that we had a FAQ section on justification, salvation, the role of works, James, why are you talking about you're not justified by faith alone? But then Paul, why are you talking about faith alone, seemingly, even though not really, because Luther added that extra word alone. So anyway, I hope that clarifies. Maybe it sounds controversial. It really shouldn't be. The Bible wasn't intended to be a solo document for believers. If it was, then I think there is a fair criticism to levy and say it wasn't written with enough precision. It really wasn't. It really wasn't. Otherwise, people wouldn't disagree about it. Because these are well-intended, good Christians who disagree about how to interpret the Bible. And I understand in a broadcast like this, there's different audiences, right? So it's like, who am I speaking to? Because, people, I have Catholics who follow me, obviously. I have Protestants, and I even have atheists following me. So the message here, I don't want to conflate it because there's a different takeaway for each audience. For Catholics, this is, you should feel good about having the authority of the church, because that's why we don't have to defend the Bible to the standard that some atheists would hold it to. For Protestants, if you think that the Bible was meant to be God's mechanism of delivery for you as an individual to read in solo isolation as a 0 to 100% manual DIY, if that's truly what you believe the Bible was, then I do think you need to wrestle with the criticism that atheists levy. Why didn't God make the Bible more precise? That's a serious objection. Don't dismiss it. I think I challenge my Protestant evangelical friends to really think about this atheist objection and come up with an answer. And don't let your answer be as shallow as, oh, well, if you don't understand the Bible, it's because you're a fallen, sinful human being. Silin. Made that up. It's not just because you're a fallen, sinful human being that you don't understand the Bible. It's because the Bible is legitimately confusing in certain aspects, right? You need an authority to help you interpret it. That's what I would propose. Maybe you disagree. Let's hear your counter argument. But then atheists who are listening to this, lastly, how would you respond to what I'm proposing here? Look, the Bible was always meant to be hand in hand with the authority of the church. The Bible does not need to be perfectly precise. We do not need the Bible to have perfect precision because that's not what it was designed to accomplish. So whether you're an atheist, Protestant, Catholic, please let me know in the comment sections what you think. Is this a fair representation? Can you see whatever you want to see in the Bible legitimately, even if you have clear eyes? Is the Bible inherently confusing in certain passages, or do you think it's pristine, crystal clear for the righteous believer? And that goes back to your question of the Holy Spirit. Will the Holy Spirit help you see the truth of the Bible in every single verse? Or do you need the ecclesial authority, the leadership that Christ planted that has been succeeding with an unbroken chain? Let me know what you think. Thanks for listening.